This is terrible. Just watch what RUFAI of Arise News did to Bwala Daniel.
What are you doing in this government? The same government that in an Arise interview in 2013, you described as president-select rather than president-elect, accusing INEC of manipulation and all of that. You are saying you were in court to say that it was a rigged process. Those were your words. You know, you had casted many doubts on the veracity of this government. You know, you had said a lot of things.
This is total takedown. That is RUFAI OSENI finished Daniel Bwala, the special advisor to President on Media and Policy Communications. This is what the man is doing. The man has no integrity. This Daniel Bwala was a right-hand man to Atiku in PDP, insulting APC, insulting the president, insulting everybody, calling the names the way Wike did to APC those days, that APC is a cancer to Nigeria, that the last thing he will do is to join APC, that APC is like going to 1,000 laughs. You know, he made some bad comments about APC, and today he is the personal advisor, the special advisor to Mr. President on Media and Policy Communications. Have you seen it? So there is no dignity, no respect. They're just talking about what they want is stomach infrastructure, nothing more. I want you to watch what RUFAI did to this man. The RUFAI finished him. He tore him into pieces and threw him under the bus. I want you to watch the video. It's too long. Just watch the video. Have patience and watch the video and see the clash between Daniel Bwala and RUFAI OSENI of Arise News
Against this government. So the question is, you know, people are asking, what are you doing in the same government at some point that you said, if they vote for APC, it will be like going to a night of 1,000 laughs?
So you for having me. First of all, I do not think by 2013 you were recruited here. As at 2013, I think sometime around 2013 was when Arise TV launched in London. And at the time, I'm not sure you were with Arise. So first premise, mentioning of 2013 is wrong. And I have been appearing on Arise TV right from UK, even before the Nigerian Arise TV station also was open. Charles Anyogolu will confirm, Andrew will confirm. So that one is one. The second one
2023. It's 2023 you said these things, but
no, you just said 2013.
It could be a slip of tongue. It's 2023
no,
you said
first admit that you were wrong, that you slip of tongue.
Bwala, I know your deflection tactics.
No,
you can't play me at the
Did
game.
you or did you not say 2013?
Go straight ahead. Answer the questions.
I'm not writing jam here.
Answer the questions. Answer the questions.
Bwala, did you say 2013 or did you not say 2013?
It could have been a slip of tongue.
Okay, then allow me to go ahead.
The truth is, go ahead. Don't deflect. Answer the question.
No, there's not. See,
no, it's a deflection tactics. Go ahead.
See, let me tell you what cannot happen here.
Yes, what cannot
is
happen?
That you cannot control me or talk to me like a secondary school student.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
If you ask a question,
answer the question
and listen to the answer.
Yes.
So that's the first correction.
Yeah.
The second correction has to do with what you wanted to know about our activities in Villa. Ordinarily, I would have said it's none of your business, but I will help you. My office is 101 in the State House, Presidential Villa. I'm a special advisor to the President. Was initially announced as special advisor, media and public communication, redesigned to special advisor, policy communication, status special advisor, no demotion, the same. I have unfettered access with the President. Last week, we had a meeting. Let us throw that one off the corner. You said Sunday Dare and Bayo Ononuga corrected me. That's wrong. It's a press statement that was issued from the presidency. There was no specific individual that corrected.
Why did you call yourself a presidential spokesman?
Let me finish. I'm still a presidential spokesman.
Okay.
Yeah. The statement that was issued said that instead of one, there are 3 presidential spokesmen.
Okay.
Let us throw these ones that are not relevant. The reason I'm here today is because I have never been afraid to appear on Arise TV. I have been a friend of this TV station, and like I said when I began, I appear on Arise in London and here. During your gossip section, you call it stories trending.
No. It's not gossip. Yeah. It's public opinion.
You call it, I have opinion, the same way you express your opinion, I'm expressing mine.
But it's not gossip.
The gentle lady here, Ayo, insinuated by what she said, let him come here, as if I am running away from coming to this station. It is for that singular reason. I tweeted, I said, that is innuendo. Fix a date and time, I'll be here, and I will come to the Lagos studio to answer your question.
Very good. True.
So
So answer the second question I asked you.
What is the second
The same
question?
government you said all those things about.
Yes.
That TINUBU didn't win this, and all
Yes.
of that. That
Yes.
processes were shambolic. You were speaking for Atiku.
Everything.
Yes. You admit you said those things against this government. Why are you still serving in this same government?
good.
The government you called the night of 1,000 laughs if they get elected. Why are you serving in? Are you part of the joke?
So if you ask the question, you wait for me to answer.
Go ahead, Bwala.
Good. I was in the opposition.
Yes.
In case you don't know, the role of the opposition is to oppose the government. In doing so, you de-emphasize the strength of the government and emphasize your strength. Where they have strength, you allow them to argue their matter. They rest their case on their strength and not on the weakness of the opposition. When I made a decision on the 10th of January, and after I visited the president, from that day till date, I speak well of the president and I support his activities. Now you ask, I spoke. Can I have water to drink, please?
Sure.
Yeah, please get him water.
You said I spoke
You said a lot of things. You delegitimized him. You said it was not a legitimate government. All the things you said. Do you still stand by them, or you had a change of heart?
They are irrelevant.
They are irrelevant. So
They are
the question is, you are not a man of convictions, because if you said those things out of your convictions, then so your convictions change.
So here, every day, wiki, and at the end of the day, you people sat and nominated him as the best minister.
The same
So
wiki
you are
called
not
Jackson 5.
a station of conviction.
Anyway, it's not Arise that nominated him. It is this day that nominated him.
This day,
secondly,
they are all part
so
of the
you are
system.
saying you don't.
Yes, you see, these people, these politicians, they have no shame. This was the same man that insulted APC's political stalwarts. He insulted them. He said so many bad things against them when he was with Atiku. He was so loyal to Atiku. Atiku took him as his right-hand man. But the same person dumped Atiku and went to APC. The same thing Reno Makri did. When he was calling TINUBU names, drug this, drug that, and all of it, he wanted TINUBU to make him the spokesperson. Before TINUBU dumped him and made Daniel Bwala the spokesperson. Have you seen it? So this people have integrity. What they are looking for is money that will enter their pocket. They have no integrity. I want you to watch the rest of the video.
Have convictions. That's what you're saying.
You don't have conviction, wiki, and then you came together.
Mr. Bwala,
Okay.
Mr. Bwala, thank you for honoring our invitation. Like you posted on your X that we should give a date and time and you'll be here, and you honor that you're here. So let's examine some of the things that you said, right? Yeah. And I say this because beyond conviction, you almost seem like a prophet. Beyond just touting the APC as, you know, a party or is a party that's a joke, you also examine the manifesto and analyze the policies of the president. So if we're talking about that now, that is in government for close to 2 years, we'd say that some of the predictions you made were actually quite accurate. One of the things you said was that you will discover that every promise put in there,
it's on its way.
all right? Okay. Unless it can show that there is a plan to create production, everything is about borrowing. And they might end up borrowing your intestine, your kidney, and every part of your being. That's what you said. Now, this administration, since coming in, has indeed borrowed to the extent that Nigerians have started to raise concern around our debt burden. In fact, our debt to GDP ratio is at a record high. What do you have to say about this? Do you still agree? Do you still agree that there are better ways to address our current economic situation, e.g., production, driving production, rather than borrowing, as you predicted before this administration came into power?
So I criticized the administration because I was in the opposition. When I made the decision to support the president, I decided to pay attention to his policy, like you talked about the manifesto, and to further do research.
Yeah.
In doing so, I try to look at where there is, for example, quote-unquote a failure. I try to know why. So, for example, there was a time there was this food inflation and it was carried all over the places. And then I tried to look at what actually is the cause of the food inflation. And then I realized there was a natural disaster in Borno, Yobe, Adamawa, which could have caused it. And then we have insecurity in the Northwest. So the research is to find a reason for whatever is the policy, the reason behind the policy. And then where, for example, there is a misinterpretation of the implementation of the policy, we come out and we give our perspective. Government is not perfect. Government will never be perfect. Government is a work in progress. And at every given time, government assesses what it does, take feedback from Nigeria, improve upon it, and move forward. There is nothing magical about everything I said before and what I'm saying now. I said it in my capacity as an opposition.
So you're saying that, so you're aligned with the boring tactic of this particular administration?
I take exception to the use of the word line.
Okay, so please, we word that person, because that's my take, like you mentioned.
Yeah, so
because
my take is you're wrong in the use of that word. I just explained, I say as an opposition, I oppose the government. As someone supporting the government, I speak for the government.
So you backtrack in terms of our ability to produce rather than borrowing?
Oh, you mean in terms of the
Yes,
government?
I'm saying about your statements. Leave
okay,
opposition.
tell me the exact statement.
So have you seen it? These guys cannot be trusted. What they are looking after is money, nothing more. So when they are with you, you think that they are supporting you. The moment the ship leaves you, they will jump the ship and go to another person. This man was the right hand man of Atiku. Nobody had thought in life that this guy would dump Atiku and join TINUBU. He badmouthed and finished and called all sorts of names. He tarnished the image of APC in those days. But today, he is the spokesperson of the same party. He condemned. That's why RUFAI is reminding him of what he said. He said that he was in opposition then. So levels have changed. That he was saying those things as an opposition person. Now he's in the ruling party. He has to play a different role. These are all lies. All they are looking after is money and nothing more. They don't have the interest of the country at heart. They are all thieving politicians. Now continue watching the video.
I said it to you. I said you talked about the fact that this administration should be looking at production as opposed to borrowing. That in the event that they came into power, they're going to borrow our intestines, our kidneys, everything, which is what we're seeing now.
Have they borrowed your intestine?
Well, I mean, you were saying it as
you say what we're saying.
You were saying it as it was hyperbole. You were using it as your words. I really want us to get something out of the interview. So it's not just about you said, I said, or I didn't mean that. Just in terms of your analysis of the current borrowing structure of this administration, is it productive? Should we be focusing more on production? Are there ways that we can be a production nation as opposed to a consumption nation so that we're able to reduce borrowing? We've had a number of analysts come here to talk about how we can finance our debts in more creative and intelligent ways that's sustainable. So that's all I want you to speak on.
Government borrows and there's a justification for borrowing. Before now, I didn't care about whatever is the justification. But now I realize that for government to be able to carry out its mandate for the people with limited resources, that's the whole essence of economy. If you cannot find where you have revenue or the revenue is not sufficient, then you have to borrow. I will give you an example. There is a research, an agreement by economists that only infrastructure alone, Nigeria needs to spend between $30 to $100 billion annually. And then to put it in order to meet up with the deficit. Or, in proper perspective, over a period of 30 years, Nigeria must spend between $2 to $3 trillion or to $3 trillion. The budget of Nigeria is less than $35 billion. So definitely you see the need to borrow. When you borrow, what do you do with it is what matters. The government borrows to invest in infrastructure and also in intervention in the areas where it affects the Nigerian people. So there is a justification for borrowing.
Okay, are you concerned, and before I hand over to Adifem, are you concerned about the spendings recently? I mean, the private jet, the presidential jet, the refurbishing of the vice president's home, and some of these things, the appointments of the president. A lot of people say that this can reduce the cost of governance so that we don't have to borrow to be funding recurrent revenue and instead focus on infrastructure. I hear you on infrastructure, and you're absolutely correct. But a lot of people have also said there's a lot of wastage in this government. Even the appointments, some of them are not necessary. In terms of even the spokespeople, we have more than enough that we don't even know. Sometimes you guys clash because you're doing about the same things. One person will release one statement, the other person will release something else, so that the president can actually trim his cabinet. The president can actually reduce his spending so that Nigerians can see that this borrowing is not just going to fund personal, personal largesse, but for the good of the people.
My sister, we are not many.
How many are you currently?
Well, you can count and let me know, but I know that in this your morning show, you have about 7 or 8 of you. Why not one? Like Charles
This is not a government establishment.
It doesn't have to. No, you are talking about effectiveness in the field.
Taxpayers' money.
No, I'm just giving you an example. Charles and Egolu does that alone, but you have about 7 or 8.
That's a loan format. That's a morning. This is and you also want to know that show has shorter hours, and this is a longer. So let's not even talk about television format. Just answer the question. That's another thing entirely, please.
With regards to the spending, and once you do that, then Adifemi would ask her, because my question is around spending, borrowing. It's really important. Okay. So just after you ask this, you respond to this question. We'll take a short break to enable you.
It's justifiable because if the president, as the chief marketer of the country, will have to travel around the world, he will need to be in a better jet to be able to do that. I understand that when Buhari was in power, occasionally his jet had problems. They had to fix it. And then with respect to appointment of government appointees, you appoint to fit a purpose. If there's a need to appoint people, you appoint. Where the trouble will come is when you appoint people and they are not effective in what they are doing. So if you have a reason to explain why we are not effective, we'll be happy to answer the question. But if you're talking of the numbers...
Mr. Bwala, I know
before we go on a break, something you said the president needs a presidential jet, that's why he's buying. But he's buying an A330 Airbus. Do you know how big that plane is, and the consumption is like for a presidential jet for a country that is going to take loans? That's an overspend. That's number one. Secondly, how can you justify the economic policies when there's been a lot of inflation, 34.1%?
Right.
For over a year, the CBN has been tightening. We've had recourse to nothing. Even the monies we're borrowing, we're not seeing it. Do you know what your own health minister said recently? Pate, out of over, 200 billion earmarked for capital projects in the healthcare sector, only 20 billion, about 23 billion was released. There's a big budget underperformance. Your Senate president did say budget performance was 50%. That's an appalling number for all the loans we are taking. So how can you justify the economic policies when the economy is not looking good? We can't even, perform effectively the budgets and Nigeria's industry.
Our economic policy has been, in my assessment, doing very well. Because where we were before President took the oath of office and where we are today, from the economic standpoint, I think economists said that it is safe to assume that Nigeria is not to be dealt with the feeling that it is going into disintegration because the fundamentals of the economy are put in place. What are the fundamentals? Remember, Mr. RUFAI, that we are dealing with a nation whose national budget is less than 30 billion. And I just said when we began that even in infrastructure, this is expert opinion, not ours. They say you have to invest between $30 to $100 billion annually. So, and then you're dealing also with a nation that the infrastructure is in decadence, so to speak. We don't have good roads, we don't have airports, our hospitals are dead, and then you are looking at a critical situation like that you are trying to navigate with limited resources. So, given the circumstance of the case, and then juxtaposing that with what we are doing, I can tell you, for example, you talked about inflation. The current food inflation has gone down because food prices are going down. The general inflation of the last month was far better in terms of than the previous month. And this is because, Mr.
What
RUFAI,
statistics are those? Because the inflation numbers, general inflation numbers, increased. In fact, we were turning down to 23%. Now it's 34.8%. As when this administration got in, inflation was not up to 30%.
Right.
This administration have increased inflation by close to 10% percentile points.
Yes, but it is to be expected because when you take policy reforms, it is like you're pulling down the house to reconstruct again. We were living on, at the time the president took the oath of office, if you remember, about 26 or so states of the federation were adjudged as bankrupt. They couldn't pay salary. That's not our challenge at the moment. Because of the increased revenue, states are paying salary. We are now urging them to go beyond that and deliver on the mandate to their people. That's one area we've dealt with. Two, the various interventions of government in terms of supporting the states and then providing in direct intervention on Nigerians. For example, if you look at the medical sector, if you look at the agricultural sector, the kind of investment we put in there, definitely there are some investment that will take time. If you plant a seed, it can't come out tomorrow.
But it's not yielding. People are suffering.
No, yes,
pain
suffering.
Pain is rampant.
That is why every time we beg. Yes, that's why every time, Mr. RUFAI, we keep begging the Nigerian people. See, leadership is about accountability and respect to the masses. We cannot look them in the face and say, we don't care about your suffering or you are not suffering. We are not in that denial. But what we are saying is that what we are doing at the moment, think of a family. Probably the father is used to taking the kids out to the movie weekends. Twice in a year, they go to Europe, America. Certain lifestyles that are, going very, very well. Suddenly, the father realized that all this is our spending.
But when did these people come for you, Bwala?
When
did these people come? Because when those policies started to kick in the early days, you said this was not the way to go. I mean, you were at variance. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Where is your conviction, my friend?
And my sister. That is the reason why I'm saying that a man who is in the opposition does opposition, and especially in this part of the world, Africa.
So if Atiku had been elected, you will follow Atiku to State House. You will not.
I don't discuss if.
Was it because Tinubu was elected?
No, I don't.
Is it for you? Is it an Ajib thing? Any government in power, I must just be in power.
That's your opinion. It's part of those.
Or your conviction.
It's part of those originally you put in your programs here that bring all the traffic. But they are out of the fact issue or fact relevant to the fact issue.
I want to ask a question before we go.
Okay.
The first question is, I'd like you to, since you're here, address this feelings by a number of people that the president.
Where is Dr. Abati?
He's off on leave. Yes, he didn't run.
Dr. Abati doesn't run. He's on leave.
All right, briefly.
He was here yesterday.
Yes,
he's on leave. You can start your leave today.
Where is Ojo?
Mr.
So all these people you see that are in politics, that is from PDP to APC, they're all the same kind of people. All they are looking is money. Wherever place they get the money, they go straight to that place. They're all political jobbers. They don't have any integrity, no dignity, no respect for anybody. All they want is money. They are ready to go and take back the saliva they have paid in the past. This Daniel Bwala finished TINUBU, but I didn't know why TINUBU went back to pick him up. All they're trying to do is to dislodge Atiku. They're trying to dislocate Atiku's camp, So he has picked this one. He has almost taken Reno. I'm told, I don't know, he's not an ambassador, I don't know, he's on the ambassadorial list. So all they are doing is to clamp on those people they can clamp on because they are all hungry people. They don't have nothing to offer. All they are seeking is to get money from the government, and they reach themselves. Whether the country is burning, they don't care. They've been borrowing money on a monthly basis. Nigeria is owing different countries of the world, and there's nothing to show for it. But the man is here supporting the party he condemned in the past. That was why RUFAI was hitting him hard, telling him to remind him what he said some years back. But he's trying to dodge what RUFAI was saying. Even Ayo, the lady, was even telling him, see what you said. Are you still committed to what you said in those days? He said, no, he was in opposition. He's not saying that again. He's on a different level. They are all telling lies. This is the problem we have in most nations of the world. These people have no shame, especially the politicians from Nigeria. Look at the man. This man is well read. The way he's talking and he's speaking, he's making sense. But at the same time, he knows he's telling lies because he cannot defend what he said in the past. He's in the ruling party. He can do and undo. He doesn't care. And this is the spokesperson, the special advisor to Mr. President on media and policy communications. These are people that are making us policies. Nigeria has a long way to go. Let me cut it short and have a good day.